Hello, hello, all. Thank you for joining us again on the Almost Brothers podcast. Hey, will you do us a favor? If this podcast has meant something to you and encouraged you, will you consider becoming a monthly supporter? You could do $3, $5, $8, or $10 a month. What this does is this helps financially support the podcast so that we can continue to put out content and help better serve you. So if you would, down in the show notes, you can click the link, support, and become a monthly member. We love you. New episode coming your way.
Hey, everybody. Did you miss us? Welcome back to another episode of the Almost Brothers podcast. So pumped to be here. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about where do you draw the line at what your kids listen to or watch. You know, sometimes we don't know where to draw that line and where we need to be strict and where we don't. Coming up. Reminds me of that song. Everybody was kung fu fighting. How's it going, Jeremiah?
Very good. How
Feels
you
like
doing?
it's been like
Man, it's been a long time since we've been up here doing this.
time.
It
It's
has.
only been like a week.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm excited to be here.
Yes.
We've talked since it's not like we haven't seen
Right.
each other, but
Right.
it's just still awesome. How's it going?
Going good.
You're camoed out.
I am.
Yes.
Kinda.
Yes. Your hat, your shorts. You know we can still see you, right?
I know. I don't have a camo shirt on.
Yeah,
So I'm
that's
just like a walking torso.
right. Yeah, exactly. Like almost didn't see you in it. That's so funny. Well, we have these two beautiful, young, vibrant ladies with us today. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you? Good.
Good.
That's it. That's all. After all that giggling and the kids, that's all. Oh, these kids!
Yeah,
my goodness,
we got these
gracious.
kids in studio today.
Oh yeah,
Could be interesting.
they're pretty awesome though. But yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. On today's episode, man, we're gonna just talk about where we've talked about this, but the ladies had no idea what we were gonna talk about today. So, just talking about like where do we draw the line? Like how do we stop our kids from watching, listening to certain types of things without completely sheltering them from the outside world? So, just open it up, babe. What do you think?
What was the question?
That's usually how things go when I speak. It's usually just what? What was the question? The topic, not a question, is wow. We do need the crickets.
We do need the crickets. We have the crickets.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It is. Where do we draw the line? How do you know when to say, okay, that's something you don't need to watch? Watch or listen to. At what point can you say, okay, you're not old enough for that? What do you think?
It varies because we have 3 kids that are completely different in age. So, Zeke and Zay are the same. Anything with me, I don't even like the shooting games.
Yeah.
And the blood or the gory stuff, and I know it took me a really, really long time to just be okay with Zeke even playing Fortnite.
Fork knife?
Yeah, Fortnite.
He hates it when I say that.
Or I don't know, what are the other games?
Yeah, like Apex.
It took me a really, really long time for him to be like, okay, you can play Fortnite, but you have to know, like, there are some, rules. Like, you can't go into the school and talk about how many kills you had, or, you have to have, like, a sit-down conversation. Like, this is reality. This isn't real life. Like, this is just a game. This isn't what we do. And with Lee, it's kind of different because she's older, so she knows.
Yeah.
Which I don't know a lot of the games she plays, but we kind of give her a little leniency since she's older.
Yeah. Yeah, I know with Bubby, it took me a while to kind of explain it to her. Like with Fortnite, like they're shooting, they're doing that with each other, but it's like cartoon It's like the guns don't look. I mean, they look like nonsense, you know, and they've got frying pans and stuff like that. And as they're shooting, there's no blood. It just looks like it's numbers. It's like it's literally like an arcade game, you know. So I had to explain to her, it's not, you know, that bad. You know, even though he's 7 years old, it's like it's made to be goofy and funny and. But yeah, we still have to have those conversations. Like, you don't say kill, like say I beat him or I, you know, made him respawn or something like that. And we still have to have those conversations with him because, you know, he's like, oh, he killed me, you know, and it's like, whoa, but like say something else, you know. We have to try to do that. So how do y'all balance that?
That, I guess the video game thing's not an issue with us really. Max plays a lot of video games, so we kind of have to monitor him, the 6-year-old. But with Ben, it's basically music.
Yeah.
And like what music you can listen to. And I don't even know if they still have, like, remember when we were younger, how they had the parental advisory stuff?
Yeah.
Stickers?
Oh yeah. They do.
Do
Yeah.
they still have all
still
that?
do, yeah.
Because I know, like with video games, there's different age levels and stuff, just like we have with TV programs and stuff.
Was it MSRB is for the video games? Yeah.
So like I think that normally their ratings are fairly appropriate, but sometimes they miss too, you know. They're like, you know, this is okay for 8 and over or whatever, but you're like, man, there's no way.
Right.
But I don't know. What do you think, babe?
Well, I can say with my girls, I was much more of a monitor on their cell phones. For me, it's I've always dealt with cell phones.
Yeah.
Because of the different apps that they have and things like that, like Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, but really the Snapchat. And then they go even further to TikTok and blah, blah, you know. They find the newest thing because adults ruin it and get on board.
Yeah.
So they have to fly somewhere else.
That's exactly right.
So for them, I went through a book that talked about cell phones, and we had a contract. And they signed it, and it said I would get their username and password for, you know, all their accounts, and I monitored it really well. And we just started at this early on, first when they got their cell phones. And then as they worked their way up, I would slowly back off of that.
Yeah.
Once, you know, the trust is gained or whatever like that. And, you know, some people might say that's an invasion of privacy or whatever on their side. But for me, it was my girls, and I was protecting them because they're young and they're vulnerable, and guys can ask them for all kinds of stuff. And it could be sent off, and you think, oh, this is just one person's going to see it, and it goes away like Snapchat. Well, no. They figured out ways to screenshot, and it can be really, really bad. With them, I was good, you know, in their younger years. But now I've kind of backed away. I can be honest with you. I'm not as watchful with Ben as I should be. We do have monitors on a cell phone for like music and YouTube and things like that. It has to be a certain rating. If it's above, like the parental advisories, I have that locked into his iPhone or whatever. Yeah. But dude, they're smart. To go around those things.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I honestly don't know what to do at that point, because they are easily can, you know, find ways around it and things like that. So, I mean, anybody has an answer on that one, let us know, because that's where I'm at, where, you know, he's learned how to go around it. And I mean, we've taken his cell phone away and given it back to him and things like that. But, that's the biggest thing for us is music, and trying to explain to him too, you know, the difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Well, to me, he shouldn't be listening to anything that a 5-year-old can't listen to.
Right.
I mean, really, in all actuality, but still trying to be able to him be his own person and figure it out and things like that. It's challenging. I don't have any answers. I'll be honest.
And I think that's the hardest thing, is there's no clear-cut answer, and it, you know, like we said, it varies from kid to kid or age to age, or, you know, because that's a good point. It's like you shouldn't be listening to anything a 5-year-old, you know, wouldn't listen to. But at that same token, it's like, you know, having kids and youth, we talk about things that I would never talk about with a 5-year-old. So it's like where, because that's why I wanted to segue is where that line is, because I know we talk about, you know, watching a gory movie, like, you know, our 16-year-old, like we've started letting her watch, you know, kind of more adult content, not, you know, like nudity or anything like that, but like more adult type stuff. And I love having those conversations. It's like, you know, where you want to keep her away from that, from the gore or whatever. It's like Passion of the Christ is the most gory movie I've one of the most gory movies I've ever seen. It's like, so where is that line drawn at? It's like, is it the content itself? Is it the genre itself? And it's such a hard road to navigate on how to do that,
Yeah.
So, cause I know, there's shows that we'll watch and we want Lee to be a part of that, and they have some adult type conversations or adult things that happen. And I know out of my experience, most of the kids that were so sheltered when we were a kid are now the wild and crazy ones because they were so sheltered. So it's like, I think you have to let them see a little bit of the real world and how it really is, because you can't just shelter them their whole life.
Oh, no, not at all. And I know when my girls were growing up, I wouldn't let them watch Disney. I mean, I was like, no Harry Potter, no nothing, just like that strict, staunch stance on it. And then I kind of like, okay, Disney, I I realize they have witches and things like that. Okay, but is it really that bad of a thing or what not? But it's hard to find that line where you're not legalistic, but yet still protecting the child. And I've battled with it myself. Is something I know me and Jeremiah has talked about. Is should we be watching anything that our children aren't allowed to watch?
Right. Yeah.
And that's where I'm struggling. And it's not from a legalistic side point. It's like God's just been really dealing with me, If you don't want your child to do it, then you better not do it.
Yeah.
And it's been like this, just a sanctification or whatever, or just going to another level spiritually. And not that I'm just staunch, you just don't do this and blah, blah, these rules.
Yeah.
It's just in my own personal convictions.
We just got checked the other day, both of us spiritually, because we were watching something and Max came in the room and I had to like pause it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, well, if I have to do that, maybe, I shouldn't be watching it.
Yeah.
And it was just foul language or whatever, but isn't a good movie. I mean, a lot of movies, I like old war movies and stuff, people get their legs blown off and stuff, that's different than watching like Devil's Rejects where there's just like murdering and
Right.
It's both gore, and stuff, but there's difference in like a war movie and like a crazy serial killer movie. But like Missy said, though, we really got checked on it because it's like, well, if you have to pause the TV because the little one comes in the room, really, should I be watching that?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to ask my kid, don't do that, but then do it in front of them.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess it's to each their own.
Yeah.
If the Holy Spirit hasn't dealt with you on that, or if you don't feel any conviction on that, then you're wherever you're at.
Yeah.
But that's just something we've been dealing with lately for sure. That's why you didn't know, but we've been dealing with this for the past week or so.
Yeah.
Really trying to clean up what we watch, because I can't ask Ben not to listen to music he shouldn't listen to or watch things he shouldn't watch if I'm not willing to give up those exact same things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Man, and I know for us sometimes you're watching a show or a movie and it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
At the worst time too,
yeah.
Like you said, they walk in the room and it's like,
Yeah.
they haven't said that a whole movie,
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, killer. Like, and it's and the thing where I'm at, I love playing the devil. Was it Devil's Advocate? Of the other side,
Right.
not actually doing it. But I love seeing, asking those hard questions, that doesn't really have an answer, So it's like, man, where does that line get drawn? Because, if you shelter, say it's got some bad language in it, a show or a movie or whatever, and it's like, but these kids are going to be out in the real world, and they're going to hear it left and right, and kind of if they've been so sheltered that they think that people don't talk like that, and they get out, they're not going to know what to do. It's going to be very shell shocking for them when they get out in the real world. Like, God forbid they go to a factory. It's going to be just
right. And I know that like both of my grandmas viewed this the same way, where, I don't think they were ignorant to the way people talked, but I know that their stand on it was they're not going to hear it in my home.
Yeah.
Not going to hear it from me. And you know what I mean? So I think that's where Missy and I both want to be, is I know they're going to hear it in the world. They're going to hear enough of it in the world,
Yeah.
but the home is a sanctuary and they shouldn't hear it there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they know mom and dad ain't going to put up with that. If they get it somewhere else, find it, whatever, their friends talk that way, whatever, you can't handcuff yourself to them and be everywhere they go and be all up in their business and slapping them on the mouth. You know what I mean? You can't be you're knocking them out every time they do, because they're going to have enough of that without you there.
Yeah.
So when they're home, that ought to be their sanctuary and their safe place. And
Right.
And that's just kind of where we stand on that.
Oh yeah.
I just went.
And we fail there. I mean, we
gosh.
fail there. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that we
Well, and you can't help because everything, no matter what you watch, it's got something in it.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
it's like, I mean,
Right.
the
Right.
Amish, I guess.
They're crazy too.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know any Amish?
Yeah.
Y'all do.
we do, man. That Rumspringer's a real
Oh,
thing.
it is.
That's so funny.
I've only seen it in movies.
It's a real life thing.
It's wild.
Anyhow.
Yeah, which, babe, I know you grew up in a house where anything
Oh
went.
yeah, I seen. Yeah, I seen everything by the time I was 10. So I had to
I was the same way.
I had to like discipline myself, especially after you get saved and you're living a Christian life. You had to not only convict, but I mean, even before I was saved and before I got married, well, like before we even got laid, like my mom was just like, go do whatever you want. Like, just, you know, if you want to stay out till 1, go do it. And so, you know, offered every drug in the book. So I kind of had to be like, no, that's not where I want to. I grew up seeing it. So I was like, I don't, that's not my life. But then on the other hand, I also, you know, went to church with my grandma 'cause she helped raise me, and it was very, very strict Pentecostal. I mean, I didn't cut my hair till I was in 6th grade. So, and like no TV, no pants. And so I had to find a balance in myself. What was, you know, right for me, and, you know, what the Bible actually said and what just convicted me. But yeah, I had to learn. And then I had to teach my kids because I didn't know. And so we kind of had to learn as we went.
Now, when you said no pants, you mean your skirts, right?
Oh, yeah.
I almost said
I
something.
want to clarify
Oh
for
my
not only
word.
our listeners, but for myself, because y'all are about to lose me on this podcast.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
calm down. It just got hot. It just got real hot in here.
You'll know what I mean.
Oh my.
I just started sweating. My
Yeah, he just kind of looked over like, ooh.
eyebrows started sweating. What kind of house did you grow up
You
in?
can cut that out.
Nope, absolutely not. But yeah, and I think that you know, like you said, everything went, and it kind of sometimes it has that opposite effect of you hear it all the time and you see it all the time, and you want to do the opposite of that. You say, I don't want to
Yeah.
sound ignorant like that. I don't want to, you know, do those things. So I just think it's such a cool conversation to have and a cool thing to think about. You know, because and each kid is so different, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like we said, with Lee, you know, we were growing up with her. So we were on that same level of trying to navigate this, you know, brand new at it. So, you know, now I love having her in there and watching some of these movies with us and watching some of these TV shows with, you know, some adult situations, which we still don't, you know, we don't let her, like if it's too much bad language, like we still cut that out. No nudity whatsoever, you know, things like that. We try to steer away from that type of stuff. But, I know there's a lot of adult conversations that need to be had with that age group, you know, and I think seeing situations in movies and TV shows can kind of open up their eyes to those type of things, you know.
Right.
So I think that's really good. We had a good conversation over at the Randalls the other night about homosexual people and how they're so mistreated by the church. And it was so good because we were talking to a couple of youth, and they were talking about kind of their experiences at one of their churches. They had a couple gay people, and the way that they were just shunned and hated and you know, just treated so bad by the church. And it's like that's the opposite of what we need to be, you know. And it's you know, sometimes people they don't see that aspect of life until they're out on their own, you know, because you know we don't talk about it in the house, or they never see it or you know, hear anything about it, so they have no idea how to react like that.
Right.
I know I had friends, I had personal friends that had never seen a black person before, never in their life. Until
In Malden?
No, they weren't in, no.
Yeah.
In Malden?
What?
That's so funny. Yeah. What?
What?
No,
They were
Sorry,
blind, weren't they?
I was kind of joking.
I was like, what state of friends?
No, they were from around here though. Like I know one was from Puxico,
Oh
and
yeah.
I think one was like from Bloomfield or something like that. And they had never and they didn't know what to think. They all they knew is what they heard. They had no idea what to think or how to react. And it's like to be that sheltered is almost working against you. To where you don't know how to react, and you haven't going out being 19 or 20, going into college and having no idea what you're getting yourself into. Like that would be terrifying,
Right.
So it's just a crazy. I don't know.
I think you hit on something when you were talking about the Randalls and stuff. Is you just got to keep the dialogue open with your kids.
Yeah.
Always be there to where you can listen to them. That's what I learned with the girls. I don't have that type of relationship yet with Ben. But I'm hoping to. But with the girls, I mean, I was just, kept talking to them, and sometimes it was just I'm in their face, like trying to get them to talk to me or whatever. And, that has helped with, different life issues, their struggles. Even now, like I can say my girls will call me when they have an issue or something like that. And I think that's what we need to do even with, what they watch, what they listen to, be open to listening to them.
Yeah.
Don't just tear them down and be like, you can't do that or whatever, but actually have a conversation. Let me hear your side. Let me tell you my side, and let's see if we can meet in the middle here. And like I said, I struggle with that with Benjamin just because me and him, we just butt heads a little bit. I think we're too much alike or something. I'm not really sure, but maybe it's a girl and guy thing. I don't know. I just don't understand it. But I'm out of this conversation. I know I want to go home and try to, have that open dialogue with him because I believe we can get there.
Yeah.
But that's just what I feel in my spirit is just you got to keep that conversation going. Too many times we just, as parents, can kind of back out of it. They get to a certain age and they're a little bit defiant against authority or, they're just trying to figure out who they are. They've got all these things going on in their body and, it's just a tough road for them. And if we would just be able just to listen and not be surprised at what they tell you. Because sometimes they tell me stuff and I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
But, be okay to listen because they're growing up. And even at, like my oldest is 20. Even at that age, she still needs mama and to listen and to, be able to be there and be that sounding board.
Man, that is good. That's good. That talking about that open dialogue, because that is the hardest thing to do with a teenager.
Oh yeah, because you want to put your 2 cents in. You're like, no, don't do that.
I always do.
Yeah, and that's the worst. Like this is what you don't do, and you leave it at that. You just don't do it. That was always
because I said so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a parent, that's almost a cop out.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to deal with this and I don't want to get into conversation with it. I don't even really know why maybe, but I just know you shouldn't be doing that. But I think it's beneficial for both them and the parent, our kids and the parents, if they talk it out, and like Missy said, hear their side of it. It's not always just, don't do it because I'm the parent. Yeah. There's more reasons to it than that. Most of the time when we set like guidelines and rules for our kids, it's because we love them and we want to protect them. And they look at it as we're like fun sucking. Yeah. And we just, like, this is awesome and you don't want me to do it because it's fun. No, it's because it's for your safety, it's for your protection. And I think that if you explain that to them, 9 times out of 10 they'll understand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and help kind of shun them away from that. Because I know that's how I was. Like, you don't do this. Like, well, I want to know. I want to do it.
Now I want to do it.
You have kids that want to, it pushes them to do it.
Won't you jump off that bridge? Yes, I am.
Yeah, why? Because like you say, why? Because it's fun.
Yeah,
that's why you don't want me to do it.
Everyone else is doing it.
You're old and you can't do it, so that's why you don't want me to do it. Yeah, and that's we've had some tough. Which usually is about once a month where we sit Lee down, like, all right, family discussion about, what's going on. Like, we want to know, how's everything going? Like, do you get bullied? Are you a bully? Like, we want to know the ins and outs of your life and some of those tough decisions, like, so.
And sometimes she just don't even talk.
Oh yeah. Just look. Just
I know how that is.
burns a hole right through our forehead.
She just sit there and staring.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, do you have anything to say?
I swear. But that's the perfect segue into I have a surprise.
Oh.
I love me some prizes.
Wait, he don't know?
Some surprises.
Yeah.
No. I got this has been sitting here for about 3 weeks now since we've been off a little bit, but everybody's had a question on here except for you.
Me?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go.
I'm kind of scared.
Mom, what's up? What is a good way to interact to help make sure that the shows they are watching are appropriate that you yourself are not interested in?
Oh,
My baby.
does that make your heart jump?
Yeah.
Because I know me and her sat in here and I was kind of, giving her the idea of what we're going to do with this episode. And she said, well, I bet it's hard for Mom because she doesn't know, some of the things that I'm into. She doesn't like some of the things I like. So how, are you tearing up?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know why. Emotional.
So she was like, man, it's got to be hard to monitor that when you have no idea what it's, what it's about. So
Yeah.
what do you have?
I don't know. That is a hard question. With me and Lee, I always make sure that what she watches is appropriate, but there are times where she has her own TV and stuff, so it's hard because like me and her will sit down and watch shows, and of course it's murder mysteries.
Yeah.
So I have to also tell her, like, Lee, this happens in real life, because she's like, oh, that's fake, and I'm like, no, that's real, and that happens. And she's like, well, then why do people do bad things like that? I'm just like, Lee, I wish I had the answer, but they don't. I mean, I don't have the answer, but I mean, I don't know what a good answer to that is.
What a good way to.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know for me, if there's anything, which most of the things that she likes in some form or fashion, I'm into as well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, she loves anime. She watch it all day long. So if it's a show that I don't know or I'm not into, I will research it. I'll look it up. I'll learn everything I can about that show. That way I know where it's going, where it's been, what's it about. That way I can, of course you can't monitor every single episode or every single thing, but at least you can kind of know
the information that we have access to. You can just be like, show me the reviews, and somebody's going to tell you, pros and cons, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I do the same thing.
Oh yeah,
it's much quicker than having to sit down and watch all of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I swear.
Which I hated, by the way.
Yeah. And see, I don't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Unless it's with you, or so I give you that rule to do.
It's my job.
That's your job. Yeah. Because I don't know. You and Lee have more in common than because when I sit down, of course I want to watch my shows, but then I have these kids.
Oh, there it is. There it is. You knew it was coming out.
They're like, we're hungry. Feed us. I gotta get in the shower. But yeah. But I also leave it to you to know what game she's playing, because I don't play Xbox, or I don't play the games that she plays. So
yeah, and I know that she can't trick me with that. I'm all over all of that. There's there's nothing you can do. I know exactly what every game is. I know exactly the rating and all that. So I know she's tried to hit me with that. I can't pause it right now. Lee, you know who you're talking to. Let's go. Like, no, I don't think so. I know how that game is. But I know I wanted to ask kind of same question with y'all, but with we talked about Ben a little bit, but with Max, like how, because does he has a phone, his own phone, right?
Yeah.
So how is it trying to monitor even with YouTube, because it could start out
It's so innocent.
yeah, watching this kid's show, and then it just suggests and then all of a sudden he's over in craziness. So how
we actually had that issue with that tanks, whatever, the home animations that he liked watching, where they just, I don't know, it's weird, tanks shooting each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to it, I'm like, they're speaking German, it's not even English. But then I'm catching like, F-bombs, in plain English. And I'm like, what is, and so it's one of them deals where, it wasn't him. He didn't know what he was doing, but it was just from those rabbit trails like you were talking about. So we had to obviously get in there and set some parameters there
boundaries.
too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We kind of just go through his phone randomly.
Right.
You know, like I'll get up and be like, well, it looks like, I'll go through his history and I'll be like, well, he was up at 5:58, and he watched 184 videos before we got out of bed, But so we just kind of just scroll through and keep an eye on him. But I mean, really, he's pretty simple still because if it's Minecraft or tanks shooting each other, that's and Unspeakable.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
that's really about
And
the
I don't know if they listen to Unspeakable, like people like that, like God bless those channels. Like I remember when Bubby started getting into them and like Dude Perfect and all these and I started researching them. I'm like, this is just good family, kid friendly stuff that's cool for them to watch. It's
Right.
like it's awesome to find channels like
It's
that.
just so weird, though, to me at the same time that they're watching kids play video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
It's
friends hated me
I
when they'd
just
come
don't
over and I wouldn't like let them play.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. Just sit there and watch me. They're like, I'm going home.
Now you're making millions doing that.
Yeah, for real.
What happened?
Yeah.
Where was
world.
that 25 years
Exactly.
ago?
Like we just missed out.
No, but with Max, his YouTube is linked to mine. So
Okay.
I can look and see
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
what videos he's watching. And then for him, we've started this recently. Again, we're new at this and we're not the greatest and we fail a lot. But when I get home with him from daycare, he's allowed to use the phone until supper. And then after supper, it's off.
Yeah.
He's play with Legos or something like that. And that's kind of how we slow him down. Sorry, he was just running behind me.
That's how we slow him down. Right.
I know, it was perfect. But
You got to see him at soccer. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's amazing. It is amazing. He's out there just running in place, and the coach has got him all like in a circle trying to talk to him, and he's like doing circles. Like, I mean,
So, I seen his
it's-
video. I guess he was
Yeah.
the goalie and he jumped on the
Right.
ball.
yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I've got videos of him just,
Oh,
like you
yeah.
said, running in place with his arms outstretched.
Yeah, like-
No other kid is doing that.
no,
But
everybody else is just standing there staring at the coach, listening, and he's just, it's awesome.
Yeah.
He's that kid.
he is that kid. And he's a head taller than all the
Yeah,
other
he's
kids,
much
know.
bigger than
Can't
me.
even hide. Yeah.
No. Hey, I had a question though. How do you spend time like we both have the same issue of the kids being, we got Ben older, like 10
Yeah.
years older than Max. So you had the same thing. How do you divide time between like the older one and the younger one and be able to have that quality time with
With
each?
both.
Yeah,
it's
because it's
hard.
such an age gap.
Yeah.
It is.
And I don't think people understand like that. It's 16-year-old
Yeah.
to a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
You either
and-
have to do one for one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It's
the
like
opposites.
Ben don't care
Right.
about Chuck E. Cheese no more.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how do you
Yeah.
do that? Like, and to engage as a family,
and
even.
and with teenagers, it's so hard because they don't want to hang out with parents,
Right.
Yeah.
and they don't want to. They're like, I have so much more stuff I'd rather be doing. Like, yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Come to hang out with us.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
a next podcast or something. That's a question I had. How do you
that's
do
a
that?
good. It's a good question.
is.
I know with me, it's a little easier. Like she said earlier, it's a little easier with me and Lee because most of the things she likes, it stems off of what I like. She'd hang out with me and then kind of get into the things that I like. So, it really is just trying to be very deliberate. And there's times where I'll just go and bug Lee and just be in her face. Just like,
Right.
what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I'll watch you. I don't care if you're drawing. I don't care what you're doing. I'll sit and
Yeah.
watch you. And it's just trying to be deliberate in that. And I know for me, I try to study the kids, know everything that they like. Like when it's Christmas time, I know everything that the kids want. I'm on it. So I try to really study them, and that way, when I have time, okay, I'm going to focus on Bubby.
Yeah.
I know everything he's into. I know everything he likes. I can give him one question. Oh, hey, has Unspeakable got a new video? Oh yeah, and then he'll start. Because I know.
does.
So I think it's just investing that. Just have a little idea. You don't have to really know what's going on. Just a little idea of what they're into, and then you can just kind of act like you know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
And with Lee, with me, it's harder because I'm at school and she's at work, I'm at work, she's at school. Yeah. It's
Child
been a
labor
long
laws
day.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And I haven't been on here in a while. And I got the black glove.
Killing it.
But I always have to make that time, like whether we're in the car or when, I don't know, when we're just sitting there at home, I kind of have to make time and even with Zeke, like sometimes I'll just have to go in his room and sit with him and watch 3 hours of Fortnite, but I feel like Zay's just always on my hip no matter what.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
She's more around me than she is him
Yeah.
because, she's
Sure.
3 and
It's your babby.
yeah. So I get more time with her than Zeke and or Lee and Zeke, but
Yeah. And I know that's got to be hard with you having the girls and then completely having to switch.
Yes,
You know,
boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord
And then-
help me.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just kind of, because I know you and your girls are so close and like, best friends. And then for them to be going and doing their own thing. And then now you have to like switch. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Call, text.
Yeah.
Tell me how to handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't,
Yeah.
man, it's an everyday type deal, which I don't remember what they were talking about, but I remember it happening. I remember we were on the way back from Jonesboro and I was just sitting there driving and Jamie and Lee were like they were in the back together. I don't know why. I think Bubby was in the front seat and they were just giggling, like talking to each other. And it was like the greatest feeling to just see them two bonding. And like I'd slowly turn the music down. So I just hear them two
Right.
back and forth. So I know they have like their murder mysteries, and Jamie wanted to be a detective when she was a kid, and I know Lee said if she wasn't in animation, that's what she'd want to do. But just to see them bond like that, man, it was the great.
we have our moments, which girls are so hard, I guess, to me. With Zeke, it's just, give him a game or,
Right.
he's all about dad and video games. And with the girls, it's always because Lee is still, my girl, and we still have things in common. It's not like I'm just like, okay, well, you bond with, your dad and go about your day. But I always have to fit it in because I'm not, I don't know, like into video games or
Right.
anime so I have to like invest in it, like in my time with her. So,
Sure.
and it might not always be that. She'll just come in there and, and just talk about school or
Yeah.
work and
Right.
But she's getting a lot better at that. She'll almost every day now she'll come out of her room and hey, how was y'all's day? Like, how was teaching? How was work?
Right.
So that
which I was like that when I was a teenager. I didn't want to leave my room at all. Like I could have just been left alone, and I had classic Mario system back then. I didn't have an Xbox
oh,
or
man.
Right.
Missy and I had Pong.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Whoa,
Why
Atari.
you just had to throw me out there like that?
Man, just
My word.
boom.
Coming through fighting
2800.
again.
Yeah, back to kung fu fighting.
Donkey Kong.
My
That's
word.
so funny. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's just it is just trying to find something,
Right.
which like me and Lee's gonna be going to Anime Con here in a couple weeks, and I always feel bad when we're doing those things, and because Jamie's not into that stuff, so I try to purposely like push Lee, like, hey, hang out with your mom, because there was times where I wasn't around, where I wasn't there, and she took care of her. She was the one there for her, and I every now and then I have to remind Lee that, like, she'll back talk or whatever. She don't back talk me very often because I raise my voice, but she'll back talk her, and I'll say, Lee, like, you need to realize, like, your mom gave up everything for you. Like, there was big chunks of time where I was away at college or I was gone, and your mom was there. She was the one taking care of you. She was the one making sure bills got paid. She's the one that raised you and taught you how to do all these things. So me and you, yes, we're so close now, but it's your mom that got you here.
Right.
yeah.
So
And that says a lot. I know it doesn't like feel good, but
Yeah.
she sees you as safe.
Yeah.
Safety. And so sometimes they act out on mom because it's the safety
Yeah.
of it all. But at the time you're like, okay, you need to back it up.
Yeah.
But but it's a good, it's a
It is,
compliment
yeah.
to you and your relationship with her, you
Yeah.
know, that she feels safe enough to
Yeah.
be,
And I always know, like, she knows she can come to me. Like, because she's, told me things that she's like, well, I just can't go to dad. Okay. That's
Right.
why I'm here. And I don't know. It's just, we have a different bond.
Right.
Yeah. Like she gets me and I get her.
Right. Right. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Even with girls like Kaylee and me, we had such a close knit relationship through her middle school years.
Yeah.
Up until probably she's a sophomore in high school, and then it kind of backed away, and then it came back just here recently, and then Bethany, me and her weren't close
Oh,
at
really?
all. No, not until like later on. Probably when I went through my divorce was when me and her got to be close, and then now she's being the adult and doesn't have time for mama. Bethany, if you're listening to this, call your mom. But it's just
Throw that
interesting
out
how the kids. But I had
Yeah.
to do the same thing. We're intentional because the stuff that Bethany likes, I don't know where this kid came from. She has a snake and wants another one, and she wants to be a cop,
Yeah.
and she's a wrestling, and I'm like, I'm a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I don't get it, but
like,
it's being
okay.
intentional, like in
Yeah.
liking what she likes.
Yeah.
It's almost like you have to force yourself
Yeah.
to do it,
Yeah.
but anyways, but it comes back around.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I seen they put on Facebook. I think it was Bethany, how they were so different, polar opposites. So I know that had to be hard, kind
Oh,
of.
yeah.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, she got her hair braided. And,
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
yeah.
Oh
My
yes.
girl.
But on the way off subject, how is talk about your Bible study, your women's
Oh,
Bible
yeah.
study on Sunday
Yeah.
mornings.
Yeah, it's going good. It's the second week. We had last Sunday, and love more ladies to come out. It's at 9:00 on Sundays, and we're doing the Battlefield of the Mind, which is it's an amazing study. Just learning how thoughts just can go down a rabbit trail, or really defeat you
Yeah.
before you even get started. And it's learning how to take those negative thoughts. And one thing I've learned about it is when you have a thought come into your mind, is to one, check it with scripture. Is this something God would say to me?
Yeah.
And two, is this within the character of God? You know, and if it doesn't, then return it to sender. Just rebuke it in the name of Jesus and take captive your thoughts. And I think it's for women especially. It's a powerful study to learn that, because we are so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't need anybody else to defeat us.
Yeah.
Ourselves, we're going to do it. So, anyways, it's a great study, and I would love to have more people.
Yeah.
Involved.
9:00 Sunday mornings.
9:00
every
Sunday
Sunday.
mornings. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I meant to ask you after service, this past Sunday, because I know it was the first week, how it went and how everything was going.
Yeah. We didn't even get through chapter 1. So if you want to come out and feel like you've missed too much,
Nice.
we are slow in the study.
Oh yeah. Hey,
We talk.
That's what I was about to say.
That's
Usually,
a good-
usually it goes on. I know we start a conversation and it's all over the
Oh,
place.
yeah.
So
That's a good
awesome.
subject. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because
Topic.
I think, like you said, I think especially for women, it's you beat yourself up worse than your own worst critic.
Absolutely.
So I think that'd be awesome for y'all women. 9:00 Sunday mornings. Get your butt out there. So Jeremiah, how's everything going in your life?
Good.
Yeah,
Very good.
ready? What you think about that fence?
That fence. I think it looks like a lot of work.
That's what I was telling
I'm
the
sorry.
round.
No,
Yeah,
it's not that big a deal. Actually, I think we'll take care of it.
That's what I'm talking about. See, it's good to have friends.
Yeah.
It's good to
It
have
is.
friends.
I know what they're doing.
That's right. Yeah.
And you have it recorded that he said.
Yeah. That's,
Well, as long as he helps me, he's gonna
Oh.
help me nail the boards.
I'll do
up
one.
and
I'll do one.
dig the holes.
I'll do one.
There's only going to be about 50 something holes to dig, so you can.
Oh, only?
Yeah,
Only?
you can-
That sounds
you can get
horrible.
You can get on some of that.
I was like, hell on earth right there. Just horrible. Yeah. Man, I'm
Well, that one we did out at Revive, it was like mid-July or August or
yeah.
something.
That's true,
when
yeah.
we first moved down here, remember, it was hot.
yeah.
And yes, at least we got nice weather.
But it's cool. I know one thing because that was when we were still kind of feeling each other out and getting to know each other. I know one thing that really caught me so fast was how, one, you knew what you were doing, but two, the fact that you would ask each of us that was out there, kind of volunteering, and about half of us had no clue what we were doing. But
I think you had a plastic hammer.
Yes. Oh, dude. Oh, I forgot about that.
That was one of the first times I met you.
Yes, I forgot about that. Okay, so yeah,
Missy said, "How'd it go?" I said, "I don't know. This one guy. I don't think I'm gonna get along with him. He had a plastic hammer."
yeah, because y'all are like, hey, run inside and get the tool. There's a toolbox inside. So I run in there and I'm like looking around, like, what in the world? I don't see no toolbox. So I finally found one. I'm like, oh, okay. So like I grab it and carry it outside. I thought it was a toolbox. It was a plate.
It's a kid's.
It was a kid's toolbox with like, cause I didn't open it up. It was like
the fake saw,
yeah.
like the little saw and the hammer. It was awesome.
The hammer that goes doing like when you hit it. I'm like,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm ready for work, guys.
Oh man, no, it was awesome though. You carried a bunch of lumber though. I remember
Yeah.
you were running lumber back and forth.
Yeah.
Be careful not to get any splinters.
Yeah, I can't mess with my hand. I'll break a nail or something. But yeah, I remember you always turning to us like, oh yeah, 72 inches, we'll probably cut it here. Like, what do y'all think of that? And that kind of caught me as you were doing that. Just like, this guy knows exactly what he's doing, but he's asking others around him what they think about it to make them feel more involved, to make them feel like they're giving input, even though you knew the answer and you knew what you should do. So that was when I first was like, oh man, this guy's like awesome. Like he's bringing people into this, trying to make them feel like part of it. So
I remember when he came home after like helping and being at Revive, and he was like, "Babe, I met this awesome guy. It's Jeremiah." It's like he goes to Revive. I was like, "Who?" He's like, "Jeremiah, the one that's building the fence." I was like, "Okay," and then he just kept talking about you like nonstop. I was like, "All right, yeah."
okay.
I guess,
okay,
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And then he just kept talking about you. I was like, "All right, I get it."
Yeah, because
Romance.
we only met a couple times before that. I think we maybe had went out and did prayer one morning or something, or one afternoon.
Yep.
With Pastor, and I think Kelly was out there with us.
Yep.
But other than that, we really had never talked.
Yep.
And so I remember going inside the foyer or just inside the church there, and we got to actually talk. And that was like the first time I kind of told you a little bit about myself. And yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's been all downhill since then. Yeah, but man, that moment just helping y'all with that fence, man, it really
That was good.
stuck with me.
Everybody got in and helped, and it really went smooth. That was, I tell you what, that's God, working, because we had a group where none of us had ever worked together.
Yep.
None of us ever done anything like that, and we'd prayed before we started, and each day we got a lot of stuff done, and the fence is still standing, hasn't fallen over on anybody. Yeah.
The one that I nailed in, it's
Hanging in there.
It's probably the best one of all of them. Just the one that I did, but
and we didn't nail any of them, so that's
yeah. Well, I mean, I had the top of the line tools.
You did.
I got the tools that you need.
We should have got you a belt.
Oh my gosh, I felt so stupid. I had to like play it off like I knew it, y'all. It was just a joke. I knew it the whole time. No, not so much.
No, it was awesome.
Oh man, yeah, this was a good one. Any final thoughts, anybody?
I really don't have any thoughts. If you talk about the battlefield, it's in my mind. It's a small playing field. So not much going on there. It's like thumb wrestling up there.
That's so funny. Hey Max, come here. Come here. What do y'all think?
Here, come here.
Oh, you want to come?
Oh, put these on.
Tell us talk to us a little bit about how's a kids church going on Sunday morning. You got new pastors, don't you?
Yeah, so I like it.
Yeah. What are y'all learning? What y'all learn about Sunday? You remember?
Fruits of Spirit.
Oh, fruits of the Spirit? Nice. What, can you remember some of them? Fruits of the Spirit. What were they?
Love.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Joy.
Nice.
Busted.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, how's soccer?
Good.
Do you play goalie the whole time?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I heard you're energetic out there and you run around like crazy.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome, bud. Awesome. Well, you got anything to say?
Yeah.
Oh, what you got?
So, on soccer practice, I was a goalie. I got stepped on.
You got stepped on? Oh,
Yeah.
man, are you okay?
Yeah.
Where did you get stepped on at? Your belly? Oh, your arm? Oh, man. Oh yeah, it's bruised too. Oh yeah. Oh, that looks cool though. Chicks will like that.
The older kids step on me.
The older kids stepped on. They ain't bullying you, are they? Ooh, have some problems. Tell them Uncle Mikey's about to be out there.
But goalies are tough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Sissy, what do you think? Good. Talk right there. You gonna talk right? No. You gonna talk right there? You have fun in kids' church? Yeah. Do you remember your teachers? What's your new teacher's name?
I don't know.
Megan and Lloyd. You have fun in there with them? What do? Did you do arts and crafts? You didn't? What'd you build? I thought you built something last week.
I made a castle.
You built a
Castle.
You built a castle?
I fall down.
You fell down? Oh man. What'd you do last night? Tell them what you did last night. Remember? You sleep in your own bed like a big girl? Oh, up top. Nice. It's been a struggle trying to get her to sleep in her. Last night she did so good. So good, huh, babe? All right. Well, any final thoughts?
Not everybody at once. Well, hey, we just want to thank you all for joining us with the Almost Brothers podcast. Remember, if you don't have a church, come join us here at the Lighthouse in Dexter, 8:30 outside, 10 o'clock inside. We love y'all.
We love y'all and welcome back. Everybody was kung fu fighting.